Every few years we go through this talk of appeals and Mumia Abu Jamal.
But could this time be different? Because there will be a hearing later this morning on past appeal denials in the case. At issue is whether a recent Supreme Court decision in another case, saying an appellate judge can't oversee a case they also had a part in prosecuting, and would that also apply to Mumia? So we're going to break that down because it can be a little confusing, but we're going to simplify it for you.
So hang with us here. Mumia Abu Jamal is currently serving a life sentence for the murder of Philadelphia police officer Danny Faulkner. This was December the 9th, 1981, during a traffic stop over there at 13th and Locust. Abu Jamal was convicted in 1983. His supporters say prosecutors suppressed evidence and manufactured proof of his guilt.
So is there a chance that all these past appeal denials could be overturned? We have attorney Rocco Cipparone to join us now to explain this, because like I said, it can be a little confusing, but you're going to break it down.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Yes. Should we start with the Supreme Court and one of our jurists?
Okay, so the U.S. Supreme Court last year in a different case called PA versus Williams, overturned a prior decision of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court because Ron Castile, who was a Pennsylvania Supreme Court justice at the time, participated in that decision despite the fact that he had been the DA who sought the death penalty in that same case when he was a prosecutor.
Was he the DA or assistant DA back then?
Well, in the Williams case, he was the DA.
Okay.
In the Abu Jamal case, he was the DA presiding over the appeals that Abu Jamal did, but not at the time of the trial. He was an assistant
Conflict
DA.
of interest is what they're saying.
So they're saying Nick should have recused himself.
They're saying he should have recused himself. Abu Jamal's lawyers had asked him to do that. He refused to do that, citing that he could segregate his role and sit as a jurist. Even the justices on the U.S. Supreme Court who voted not to overturn the issues in Williams said it was an unwise decision, and I think most jurists would agree.
So if at the time he said, no, I can, separate that, how come now we're saying, no, we have to go back?
Well, because he said he could separate it. Abu Jamal's lawyers say it was impossible for him to separate. It was probably one of the highest profile cases he handled as DA.
That's true.
The DA's office is going to say, look, there were other justices on the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. They upheld the decision. Let's keep, the rulings in place.
So let's say that, I don't know, the courts agree with Abu Jamal's attorneys. Would they just throw out all the appeals that jurist was involved in?
Yeah, they won't throw them out. What they'll do is allow him to relitigate them before a differently constituted Pennsylvania Supreme Court.
Okay.
So the current court would have to then make the decision as to whether or not they're going to uphold the conviction or throw it out.
So basically it's like deja vu. They're literally going through everything all over again, like they already have, just with different people watching.
Yeah, it's Groundhog Day with different judges. He gets to relitigate those issues as another potential bite at the apple.
Doesn't mean that it will turn out any differently, but if you're in jail for the rest of your life and even on death row, I guess you would try anything. Yeah,
you take every shot you have, right? So he gets another bite at the apple. The decision can be the same as it's been, and his conviction can be upheld, or there can be other remedies that the court decides. As a newly constituted court, different judges can make a difference.
How soon will this happen?
It's going to take a while. So what will happen is the judge today will either make a decision today, which is probably unlikely. It'll probably be a while before that decision comes out.
Right.
And depending on how it breaks, there's going to be a whole series of appeals again, all the way up through the Pennsylvania courts and probably to the U.S. court, the federal courts as well.
We'll keep an eye on it.
All right, guys.
Great job.
Good to see you guys.